Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, movie trivia podcast where I give my three, but tonight two guests. But I'm still going to give them three different movies, and they try to come up with the most random, obscure, or minor actors they can think of. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, the man, the myth, the legend of Zelda is one of his favorite games, Alex Young. How you doing, bud?
Good. That was fun. That was a fun intro.
I screwed it up a little bit.
Meaner than it did. So that's a nice change.
Yeah.
I'm good, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been a nice, peaceful several weeks without doing this bullshit with you.
I started a new job, Alex.
You did? How's that going?
It's fine. It's fine.
You're like, I already hate it.
No, it's good. It's been 2 days and I have not done any work. It's been like setting up different accounts and accesses to stuff. And I'm just going to tell you one story. So they've got like a pre-created signature to put on your email. And you just like punch in your information. Like, my name is Jeff Penn and this is my email address. And then it creates it for you with their logos and everything like that. And so one of the sections, so it was full name and then title. And then all the, like, your phone number and all this stuff. So I did it and sent it off to like my supervisor. And was like, hey, is this look okay to you? And she's like, yeah, except for your title should be your job title, not Mr. And I was like, oh, okay. So I changed that. So
that's awesome.
Because I was that's people call me Mr.
Nobody to catch it for so long, and they're like, Mr. Jeffrey Penn, thank you very much for your whatever.
I mean, it is a title. I didn't know, and honestly, I wasn't even really sure what my job title was up until she said it should be this, and I was like, oh, that is what I am. So made that correction.
That's
but what do you got going on?
Well, as I'm sure I've mentioned it several times on the show, but I moved a few months ago. And had something real weird, Jeff, because I have always been in apartment buildings. I've always had shared laundry. But a week or so ago, I went into the laundry room a few weeks ago, and there was like, I'm going to say, because what I initially thought was spilled on the floor was detergent. It looks like somebody had like grabbed like their thing of like Downy, Comforter, whatever, like the pink, and it had like left this like weird little trail on the floor. I'm like, well, people are gross. That sucks. Maybe you didn't notice you spilled it. Whatever, not the end of the world. Put my laundry on. Don't think anything about it. Go back in the apartment. I walk through the hallway, which is a white floor, and I look behind me, and there's like increasingly red footprints. Like they started very faint, and they got more red. And not just footprints, but like feet. Because I'm wearing like slipper socks, but it's like actual feet. It looks like 13 Ghosts or The Invisible Man. Like it's red footprints from nowhere. I'm like, well, there's a fucking ghost in the house, I guess. Like, what else could it be? Blood footprints behind me. So I check the bottom of my socks, and there's like red something on it. I'm like, okay, well, that's fucked. So I take those off, and it cleans up easy enough. I just get like a paper towel and like Windex, and all gone, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I guess there's something spilled in this laundry room. So I'm like, I will be a good neighbor, and I'm gonna go clean up this bullshit. So I go, and I've got like a, family-friendly spray, whatever, floor cleaner, and like 5 pieces of paper towel. I'm like, if this isn't enough, that's as clean as it gets. And I kind of like give it a spritz, and I do one wipe. Like I'm learning how to do karate, like a single wipe, and the floor goes blood red. And I don't mean like, oh, wow, it went red. It's like Giallo movie red. Like there is paint all over the floor. And I'm like, what in the fuck is happening? And there's like a security camera there. And I literally look up at it. I'm like, well, like, I don't know what you want from me. So I do one more wipe to see if I can clean it up. It doubles in worse. It gets double worse. So I throw all that out. I'm like, well, this is out of my hands. So I snap a picture of it and I text it to my landlady. And I'm like, floor's fucked. And I just kind of like go on with my day. And 10 minutes later, she sends it to like the group, because there's only like 5 units in my building. So it goes to like the 7 numbers, whatever. It's like, hey, this is a courtesy, blah, blah, blah. There's some sort of dye or chemical on the floor. If you did this, clean it up. What the fuck, essentially. And nobody replies. But 10 or 15 minutes later, I hear someone with a mop just go into town in the laundry room. And I'm like, great. I want to peek and see who it is so badly. I hardly know anyone in this building, but I'm like, I want to see. So I like open the door, but our door's loud, and I do a little like clandestine look, but I can't see. They have their back to me. I don't know who it is. It's a woman. Not that narrows it down. and they're just mopping the hell out of the floor. So I gave it like 5 or 10 minutes, and I go back. At this point, I'm now wearing sneakers because I don't want to wear my slipper socks that already had blood on them. And to their credit, they've done a phenomenal job. Everything is like spick and span. I don't think the floor's ever been that clean. There's no red on it. And I look back, and my Converse have left red fucking Converse prints again. And I'm like, what is happening? Because this has been bleached and washed, and it's not dry yet, but it is pristine. Like, there is no mess left. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So I take off my shoes, I clean the floor also, because I want to be rude and have it double worse, and I wipe off the shoes, and I'm like, now this is a goddamn mystery. Like, what is going on? I get the shoes clean, my laundry's done, I take it out, I'm putting it in the dryer, and I notice one shirt has red dots on it. It hasn't been dyed pink like a sitcom, but it has, like, on the collar, there's a couple red dots. Down by the hem at the bottom, there's a few red dots, like it's getting shingles. Like, it has literally just red little specks in random spots, not all over, and not every piece of clothing. I only found it on one shirt. I'm like, that is fucking crazy. So I don't dry it, because I'm like, I think whatever this is will set for sure if I understand how stains work, which I don't, but that seems right. So I let that one hang, and I follow up on the group text. I'm like, hey, whoever did this, do you have additional information as to what this is? Because I've got some clothes that are ruined, and I'd love to, like, try and fix them. And 10 or 15 minutes later, I get, there's a message that says, I will call you, to me directly. And somebody else had replied and been like, yes, I also have clothes that have been stained. Please let me know. So then I get a call from this woman, Fran. Fran lives in my building. I've met her before. My partner's mentioned her. She's kind of a lot sometimes, but she's fine. Middle-aged, couple of kids, whatever. But she's always like gardening outside her window at like 6 a.m. on a Thursday. I'm like, 1, it's March. 2, go to bed. 3, it's a fucking apartment. Why are you gardening? Anyway, it's fine. But she's like, oh, it's Kool-Aid. And I'm like, what do you mean, oh, it's Kool-Aid? She's like, it was one of my kids' birthdays, and I had this Kool-Aid, and I must have like tracked it everywhere. And I'm like, you must have poured it into a bag and washed it, because I've never seen this much red random shit in my life. And she's like, oh, just like, I'm going to leave out more laundry money and some detergent and wash it, and everything will come right out. And I'm like, okay. So I took some stuff out of the dryer, and there were 2 other items that now had shingles, essentially. And I'm like, I'll wash them again. Spoilers, it's fucking Kool-Aid, so it 0% worked. But anyway, there was no real clear explanation.
How the Kool-Aid got into the laundry machine and on the floor.
And that much of it, like so much volume that it had stuck to the bottom of my shoes, remained invisible. Then when it got damp, became footprints, became Converse shoe prints. I mean, mystery solved, but also, what the fuck? And the epilogue to this is 2 weeks later, I did a load of laundry. You'll never guess what happened. Shingles. I had another shirt that had like white sleeves, and it got dots on it. I'm like, goddamn fucking Fran, how is this still a problem? So there was like one particular washer, one particular dryer that like we just won't use anymore.
Because there's like
it's contaminated
Kool-Aid powder in it or something.
Permanent Kool-Aid. It's like every time
she mixed up the detergent powder with Kool-Aid mix.
100%. Like that's her fabric softener. She's like, oh no, I'm all out of fabric softener. And then the Kool-Aid busts through the wall, and he's like, oh yeah, use this cherry red blast. And she puts it in, it's like, thanks, they're so fresh. And now we're all fucked. That seems to be the case. Anyway, Fran's a trip, and otherwise the apartment is fine. How you doing, Jeff?
That is the longest story you've, I think, ever told off the top. And nothing against it. I'm just saying, and the longest story I've ever heard about Kool-Aid.
1, you're welcome. 2, that's true. And 3, we only have one extra guest, so it worked out great.
It was great. It was great. You're right, Alex. We do only have one guest tonight, so let me introduce him. Today's guest, and I just had to rewrite this, Alex, because it was plural, so now I had to change it to singular. So today's guest is a guy who knows his Godzilla from his Chaplin, his cabaret from his Cold War, and somehow is able to make history class feel like movie night. He is one of the brains behind the History on Film podcast, where every Monday they dig deep into the movies that made us and the history that shaped them. Please welcome Ryan Barr, historian, film nerd, and possibly one of the only people who has survived watching Mazes and Monsters for academic reasons. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Thank you. That was quite an intro. Yeah, I had to watch Mazes and Monsters for like work, which is weird. And that's a movie.
I mean, because I think I'm a little bit old. Like I'm older than you. So while I don't know if I watched Mazes and Monsters when it came out on CBS, like that first week, it is something I remember watching as a kid, and for years, kind of talking about. Like maybe I had an older brother or sister that recorded it, and so it was always kind of in the back of my brain, Mazes and Monsters, that it was a thing.
Right. It's for me. Like, because we were, the episode that we did that about was talking about like the satanic panic in the 80s, mass hysteria, and how this book that got turned into a movie was playing into and cashing in and all of that.
Yeah.
So even taking it out of the context of like, oh, this is like, it was in the zeitgeist and it was going on and this was something that they were talking about on CBS, and I think same week that came out, or I don't remember when, but like CBS did a big thing about the satanic panic and Dungeons and Dragons, all these things. Taking all of the historical context out of it, taking all of that into consideration, it's still a pretty awful movie, even by TV movie standards. It is there, and I'm not curious enough to read the book, but it definitely feels like there are some things left, like when you're watching something that's based on the book, you tell, oh, they cut a chapter here for time, in the script. There was definitely some things that were left on the cutting room floor, because that movie, the characters make no sense, the motivations make no sense. It jumps around. It starts off as like a pretty dark cop movie where like the cops are talking like, oh, this game got out of hand, and then it cuts to like a very like TV sitcom pilot intro. It's like happy music, and it's like a car driving through New York City. It has nothing to do with the last scene you just saw. The movie makes no damn sense. I believe I said on the episode, of all the movies I've ever seen, it's definitely one of them.
Oh wow! I was gonna say, because like you mentioned, it was CBS, so I think it was 82, and then I think you mentioned in your episode in like 85 or 86, 60 Minutes does a whole episode kind of about Dungeons and Dragons, where they're once again like Dungeons and like the psychiatrist who's like, people are conjuring actual demons using the guidebook from Dungeons and Dragons. Like, right. Hey, 60 Minutes, do 5 minutes of research on this maybe, and like, fact check that. But what I thought was weird is that you mentioned the cartoon that I think came out in like literally the next year after Mazes and Monsters. Dungeons and Dragons, the Saturday morning cartoon, came out, right, but was also on CBS. So they were playing both sides of the game there. But I think you mentioned that even Mazes and Monsters, the movie, at the end, they don't really blame Dungeons and Dragons per se. It's more of this was a troubled kid. They were all kind of troubled and had issues, and this was just kind of the thing that tipped him over the edge per se.
Yeah, the movie does kind of not blame the game. It does blame mental health, but it deals with mental health, and even by 80 standards, a very horrible way.
Well, I think you mentioned like the final scene is like Wendy Crewson and Chris Makepeace really indulging Tom Hanks's idea that they're all still in the game, and then like it kind of ends, and we never saw him again.
Yeah,
right?
Like there are people in the 1930s, like didn't the movie Gaslight come out in like 36 or something like that? Like people even in the 30s knew like, hey, if somebody's sick, you don't indulge them in their delusions, right?
Yeah.
And this book was written in the 70s, the movie's made in 82, and it's like, wow, even people in the 30s are going, wow, maybe you guys should get your friends some help.
Yeah, it's one thing to indulge someone if they're on the edge of a roof, and the only way you can get them to come back on is like, you're right, that is right, like come back down. But yeah, when the guy's in a hospital, don't play Mazes and Monsters again with him.
Unless it's like a Shutter Island situation, in which case everyone's in on it week after week.
We're going to do this every week until you break, yeah.
I mean, we can do a headcanon kind of thing. We're sure it was like, a Shutter Island, but no, nothing in that movie even suggests that it's that deep. And then, like, I think we mentioned on our episode, like, the implied, like, this guy's in therapy now trying to get help to break his delusion. His friends show up, play along with his charade.
Yeah, never roll the die. Let's do it again. Yeah.
never talked to him again, and just ruined potentially
All the work.
months of therapy that this guy has
the
been in.
psychiatrist comes back in on Monday and he's like, what the fuck happened? We were making progress and now you're wearing a robe and you got a giant staff again. Like, what is going on?
Horrible movie. Anyone listening, watch it, because it's definitely everyone needs to watch it.
I think it was on Tubi for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was on our list.
I watched it.
Yeah. It was on our list of bad movies to watch. And I remember this movie because I had a friend who her boyfriend at the time was into LARPing.
Okay.
And they were younger, and I was like, oh, do you know about Mazes and Monsters? And she's like, no, I don't. And I happened across a VHS copy of it at like Walmart, bought it for like $3 and gave it to her, and there was no audio on it.
Nice.
It was like, I'm like, it was in the bargain bin. There's really nothing we can do about this. It's,
even with no audio track, you spent $3 more than
I should have. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But the beauty of, if I got a copy of it and had no audio track, I'd be running my own commentary, because it's definitely riffable. It's definitely one of those things where you get some friends together, get a couple of drinks in you, put that on, and you guys can just like come up with your own dialogue.
Yeah, for sure. So we don't want to talk about Mazes and Monsters the whole night, but
please no.
Ryan, I believe you guys also, we had another guest on a few weeks ago. You guys also won a Podcast Overlord Award, if I'm not mistaken. And I think this was the other podcast that I nominated for the award, because he literally sent a list. He's like, can you think of any other categories? And I came up with a category, which I think was whatever you guys won, which was like or educational podcast or something like that.
Most informative.
Most informative. So I was like, yeah. And I submitted you guys and you guys won. So I'm kind of like I'm the kingmaker.
All right.
And that was a shock to us. In fact, I remember I got the notification on Instagram the day the awards came out.
You're like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
Yeah. You and your show had mentioned like, oh, and congratulations to our fellow winners. I'm sitting there. It's like 10 in the morning on a Saturday. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Yeah. Was my initial reaction.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I don't think the awards carry a lot of weight outside of the people who won them. So I think any of us are.
Is that why you bring them up every chance you get?
I do, Alex. I do.
That makes sense. Then.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I mean, if you go on any of our social media accounts, we do put that we're an award-winning series. Yeah. And also on my resume, I do have that as an award-winning series. And I tell people. In fact, about a week after we won, they were doing an event here in town. The town I live in, it's Flannery O'Connor. It's her hometown. It was her 100th birthday, so they were doing a lot of events surrounding her birthday. And a lot of my old professors, because I did radio in college, and a lot of my old media professors were there. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast now, and we're award winning. And I definitely had to
You're like, oh good, we were worried you weren't going to do anything with your life, and you're like, don't worry. I've got an award-winning podcast.
Right.
I'm great.
Yeah, I'm not doing much, but what I am doing, I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Now, you guys, much like us, you're relatively new. You started last year, right?
Yes. We started recording last year about September, October, and then our first episode went out in November. So we've been doing this about 9 months. At the time of the recording with you, we had just wrapped our season 1 finale episode. So that just came out this week. And we're very proud of that episode.
So yeah, I was going to ask, so best places to find you. I listen to you guys on Spotify, but I'm assuming much like everyone else, you're on Apple and every other podcast you can find, right?
Yeah, we're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, that we know of.
Yeah. There's also 100 others that you don't know you're on that, every once in a while get an email from them and you're like, you've got more listeners. I'm like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. Like you go to because our website that we host it through, like you go to the Insight and be like, usually like Apple, Pandora, and then like other, and there's like all these other, and I'm like, all right, cool. But we have our own website. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky. You can find us all over the internet. We're
and for people who are looking for you, the correct title is History on Film. So
yes,
History On Film Podcast. Don't history film or history podcast. It's History on Film Podcast.
Yep.
And yeah, you guys get really deep into like kind of like maybe why these movies are being made and like kind of the history behind like the true stories of what's going on in these things. So
Right. The whole thesis, the whole conceit, I guess you can say, of the show is that, and we actually had this person on, but Dr. Robert Rosenstone wrote a book years ago called "Film on History: History on Film," and when he was teaching at Caltech, because it's a engineering school, they didn't really care what the humanities did, so he thought like, hey, I can use film as a teaching tool and show how, while some movies might not be historically accurate, but they could be historically correct, or just from the visual display, just from the aesthetic, you can get a very good sense of the themes or the event or what happened. So that was he started teaching that course, and that was kind of where we kind of came. Of course, the title of this book was, title of our podcast. But we kind of do the same thing to show how, Pearl Harbor could be an awful film, but there is some merit in kind of it, of learning. You can take something out of even the most horrible films if it has some historical relevance, or there's something, or if, like, take a movie like Starship Troopers, for example. Verhoeven's trying to say something in that movie.
Yeah.
Now you could think it's campy or whatever, but a lot of Verhoeven films, he's trying to say something, right? What is he trying to say politically, historically, culturally in the film? So that's kind of what we talk about, and we range all sorts of different topics, we've talked about all sorts of different movies. And like I said, we just wrapped up season 1. So we did a full slate of 34 episodes. We're taking the summer off, and we're going to come back in September with a whole bunch of new episodes. We got a great lineup coming up. We're really excited about some of these episodes because they're some of them will get weird in the best way. We're going to have some fun. We're going to go some different places, and
Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're one half of the team. Your partner,
Yep.
Ross, came down with a last minute migraine. I think he was afraid to play.
I mean, he kept saying like, "Oh, I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen." I'm not saying he chickened out. I'm not.
But like, really, that. Like, it's literally like being like, "I got the vapors. I can't." I'm like, "Come on, like, really? This seems made up." But that is okay.
Right.
We're going to do it anyway because, Alex, as we discussed, we need content. People are clamoring for new episodes of Deep Cuts right now. So the first thing we're going to do is I think of a movie, and the two of you try to guess what movie I'm thinking of. Okay. So, Alex, I'll let you go first to show Ryan how it's done.
I tell you what, Jeff, it's been so long since we've done this. I 100% forgot about this part.
Me too, to the point where I literally thought of the movie as I was talking to Ryan before we started the show.
So I'm going to guess the movie that literally just arrived in the mail for me today. Are you thinking of Return of the Living Dead?
I am not.
That's disappointing.
So Return of the Living Dead. Okay, Ryan, you've seen how not to do it.
Right.
What movie do you think I'm thinking of?
That's a good. I mean,
it's not a good question. It's a question.
It's a question.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to go with that 2000 and the one with
1819, the one with Chris Pine.
No, the one they did before that.
Oh, the one where with what's his name?
Martin Lawrence. With Martin Lawrence.
Oh, am I thinking of the same one?
I believe that's Martin Lawrence. Or am I
thinking of the one with
or is that Black Knight? Am I thinking?
Are you thinking of Black Knight?
You're thinking of Black Knight. I was thinking, wasn't there one with who's the he's a British actor that was in like Lolita.
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons was in a Dungeons and Dragons-ish movie as well. That's where I thought you were going. It's not. It almost was Dungeons and Dragons, but I've done that before. Because I have the Dungeons and Dragons manual in my room for my son, and I was just kind of like looking around, like, what can? And I was like, nope, can't do that again. But your shirt, Rush, made me think of, and I feel like someone in the movie Fanboys is a big Rush fan. Alex, am I wrong?
Like maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Dan Fogler has.
Dan Fogler's
it's all Rush all the time, and all of his mixtapes are just different Rush songs.
Rush songs, yes. Yeah. So that's why I went with Fanboys. So neither one of you are anywhere near it. So I'm going to defer to our guest. Ryan, would you like to go first or second? And with only two players, it really is not going to make a lot of difference.
Right.
So what is your choice?
I'm going to go second, just so I can see how it's played a little bit.
All right. So Ryan first, Alex second. So at this point, I'm going to give you our 3 movies. I was almost going to take one of the movies out, but honestly, I like all 3 of these movies, and there's a lot of crossovers, so I want to keep all 3.
Okay.
So originally, I was going to do a historical film kind of theme and take 3 movies that have true components to them.
Okay.
But like I said, they were just too big. Like Catch Me If You Can was going to be one of the movies, and I'm like, there's just so many people. So instead, the theme is, I think, just people with addiction, maybe a little New York. No, it's not New York.
So no theme at all is what you're saying?
Forget it. There's no theme.
There are 3 movies that exist.
3 movies that exist. And now I can't remember, Ryan, you guys both sent me your favorite movies, and I can't remember who sent me the long list and who sent me the short list.
I mean, I think I emailed you my initial list, and then I thought of 3 more, and I had to add.
So, well, hopefully I've chosen one of the movies that you're more familiar with, and that wasn't one from Ross. So we will see. I'll give you that one last. So we'll start with, from 2012, Silver Linings Playbook.
Okay.
From 2019, Joker.
Okay.
And now the one that was on one of your lists from 2013, The Wolf of Wall Street.
That was my list.
Okay. So good. I'm glad Ross isn't here. No, we're sorry Ross isn't here. So yes, like I said, Wolf of Wall Street was always going to be one of the movies, and it's got a super deep cast, and honestly, you could almost just do that movie with 2 people, but I really like these ones. And I will let you know that there are 3 people who appear in more than one of these films. So if you do say one of those people, you will get the points from all films. While you're thinking of these people, trying to come up with some names, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Celebrate your love of cinema with MoviePosters.com. Whether it's cult classics, obscure gems, or your all-time favorites, they've got the perfect poster for every fan.
Your kids want a Tom Holland Spider-Man poster?
They got it.
Your mom wants a Kevin Costner poster?
They got it.
Dad wants all the Scorsese classics?
Jeff, they got it.
And don't forget something for yourself.
All of the above.
Go to MoviePosters.com and use promo code DeepCuts15 and get 15% off your next order. All right, welcome back to Deep Cuts the Game. We're here with our first episode of the second half of season 2. We've been away for a few weeks, so everyone's a little rusty, including my co-host Alex, who's, according to him, has written down 5 names when he needs 6. And I was even going to open it up to 8 since we only have 2 people, but we'll stick with 6.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that, Jeff.
So the 3 movies tonight are 2013's The Wolf of Wall Street, 2019's The Joker, and 2012's Silver Linings Playbook. Alex, what's your deepest cut?
Actually, I just remembered one, which I'm pleased about. So I'm going to take that now. But Zazie Beetz is in The Joker.
How is that a fucking deep cut?
Because the only other name I had, Jeff, is A Shot in the Dark. So I'm putting that down.
Zazie Beetz for 3 points, Alex.
Great. On the board. It's not a 0.
She is the love interest in that film and has quite a bit of scene time. But it's points on the board. Well done. Ryan, you get 2 picks in a row. And just to let you know, you don't have to follow Alex's lead and to say movies, people from The Joker. You can pick from any movie at any time you want.
Okay.
So what's your first deep cut?
Well, I'm going to do The Joker only because it's the only deep cut I can think of that game. Mark Maron.
Mark Maron, yes, is the assistant on a talk show.
Yes.
So Mark Maron, whose podcast is ending, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he posted something. I don't know if it's finished or it's finishing, but he did post that the show is coming to an end. So Mark Maron for 8 points from The Joker. Host of, I believe is it called What the Fuck? Or WTF with Mark Maron. That's not bad. That's not bad, Ryan. You get another one now, though. So if you don't have anything else from Joker, feel free to hit up Silver Linings or Wolf of Wall Street.
All right, I'm going to do Wolf of Wall Street. The first name when you said deep cut, first name that popped out of my mind is Thomas Middleditch. I believe that's his name.
Yeah, that's a
Silicon Valley.
That's a good one. He's the. Yeah. I thought I had watched this movie at least once. I own it, and so I was like, it's a 3-hour long movie. I better watch it again just to see how much these people are in the movie. And I saw his name. I was like, oh, he must have a pretty big part. He's got one scene He's
Yep.
wearing a fucking bow tie, and he's cleaning his fish tank in the office on the day of a big IPO opening, and they
Yep.
just ridicule the shit out of him and fire him and kick him out of the office. Thomas Middleditch, star of Silicon Valley, is worth 14 points.
Whoa.
I mean, he's got one scene.
Feel it. I mean, that's fair. Hey, that's fair. I can't argue with it.
Did you remember he was in it, Alex?
No.
So there you go. Okay, so I
Not
feel
even
confident in my 14 points for Thomas Middleditch. Alex, you get your second and your third deep cuts.
Okay, so I need to do a little bit better than apparently like third build in the Joker.
Yeah, the
'cause
love
I
interest in that
clearly
movie.
misremembered that
Yeah.
she was in it as much
Yeah,
as she.
she's
So for Silver Linings, I'm going to take deep cut legend Shea Wiggum.
Alex. Not only is he in Silver Linings Playbook, he's in the Joker as one of the cops that is chasing him down the street, and they get in the subway and there's a fight. He's also in the Wolf of Wall Street as the captain of his yacht.
Are you serious?
They sink his yacht when they're trying to go from Italy to Monaco or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, there'll be some chop." He's like, "We can handle chop, right?" They cannot handle chop. The boat sinks. So Shea Wiggum for Silver Linings Playbook is 8 points as he plays his brother. He is 7 points for the Joker.
Awesome.
And he is 9 points for Wolf of Wall Street. So you
Hey,
just
that's
picked
pretty
up
good.
16, 24 points. That's one of the
Wild.
better scored deep cuts that anyone's ever had, Alex.
That
So
I've
well
ever
done.
had for sure. Because
For
usually
sure.
I'm like, the second build character is Brad Pitt.
Yes. So yeah,
Like-
well done. 24 points for Shea. We'll take him off the board. I will let you know there's still a few other people that are in more than one film, but some of them will be tough to get. But well done, Alex. Shea Wiggum, what's your third deep cut?
I'm gonna go Wolf of Wall Street now, and I don't think he's worth too much, but maybe he's only got a couple of scenes. But I think maybe plays his dad is Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, yeah, he is his dad. He's
in a few scenes.
He's got quite a bit, like not a lot, and he is like fourth or fifth build in the movie, so he is worth 7 points, Alex.
Great, more than Zazie Beetz, so I'll take it.
Yep. Well done. All right, Ryan. Alex is stealing some of the better ones here.
I see that.
What do you got?
Wolf of Wall Street is only in 2 scenes, I believe. He's another fellow director, Jon Favreau.
He is, yeah. You are right. Yeah, I think he only had they introduced him as kind of like their SEC lawyer kind of thing, and then he shows up later. He's like, "You should take the deal," kind of thing. Jon Favreau for 10 points.
That's very good.
So at the halfway point, we're just gonna fly through this one, I think. So Ryan, you have 32, and Alex, you have 34. So I love it.
Wow, that is close.
Neck and neck, and Alex, 24 of your points came on one guess.
I am aware of where the points came from.
Ryan, you get your fourth deep cut right now.
All right, fourth deep cut. Another director has a small cameo at the beginning. Mike Jones, director of the Weezer "Island in the Sun" video.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and he's uncredited actually.
Yes,
he's in when he gets after the crash, and he ends up going to work in some mini mall at a shitty, penny stock place. It is Spike Jonze who is there, and he's got like a really shitty mustache and a comb over, and so he's worth 14 points because he's uncredited, and is really in one scene, and they're just amazed at his ability to sweet talk people into buying stock. Well done, Spike Jonze. I didn't think anyone would remember that one because he's a little unrecognizable in that film.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what Spike Jonze looks like.
You
could be like, here he is, and be like, sure.
Like I don't know. Yeah, like what's Spike Jonze like? He's in Three Kings. He's got a part in Three Kings. He's like the other. He's like the fourth. He's not one of the kings, Alex. But he's one of the other guys.
He's not the gold bullion we use it to make soup guy.
He's Robin Wright's husband in Moneyball. That
I love Moneyball.
That tries to talk to Brad Pitt about baseball, but you can tell he doesn't really know about baseball. And he dances in the Praise You video for Fatboy Slim. He's the main guy in that video. That's like, do you remember that video with they're doing the
I'm thinking of Weapon of Choice with Christopher Walken.
No, there's one where they're in front of a theater and they start doing just like a really shitty dance with like very normal looking people with like a boombox, and someone comes by and shuts it off. And he's like, hey, no. And they restart and they're not very good dancers.
Jeff, don't forget, I'm half your age, and I didn't have cable.
Listen, Spike Jonze is maybe the last good music video director,
Yeah.
right? Like they don't make music videos like that anymore, right? Like Sabotage and Bjork's It's Oh So Quiet. Listen, if you want to watch good music videos, just type in Spike Jonze music videos.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome. Alex, you get 2 in a row again. What's your 4th deep cut?
So I'm actually gonna take a total shot in the dark because I feel like I need to make up a lot of points. And because we're talking a lot about directors, does Todd Phillips have a cameo in Joker?
He does not.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I would have swore he's in The Hangovers. I fully thought he was going to put himself.
Do you want me to let me double check?
No, I believe you. It's
I mean,
fine.
I didn't
surprised.
see his name off the thing, and just let me.
Because I can even picture his stupid wig in The Hangover and his tracksuit, and I'm like, surely that guy comes back in the Joker.
And I think he wears the same wig in the opening of Old School.
I think you're right. Yeah.
He's not Alex. He does not. If he's in it, it's not credited on IMDb.
Fine. In that case, give me John Bernthal in Wolf of Wall Street for 600 points.
6 points, Alex. 6 points.
Oh, I was close.
He's got a pretty big part in that movie.
Yeah, no, he does for sure. If I remember he's in it, he's got a big part.
So John Bernthal for 6 points. Not bad, Alex. But Todd Phillips, that's gonna hurt, Alex. It's gonna hurt a little bit. Ryan, you get your last 2 picks. So
Okay.
what's your 5th deep cut?
5th deep cut. I forget his name, but he's in the same scene with Spike Jonze. He's the big guy. He has a couple scenes later. He's also in American History X, and he was in Boy Meets World back in the day.
Back in the day, he was Ethan Suplee from Mallrats and
Evolution is my touchstone for you.
Yes.
He's in a bunch of stuff. I can never remember his name, but he's one of those guys like him, like when you see him pop up.
And now he's lost all that weight, and he's just jacked.
Really?
Oh my god! Look, he's ripped. Ethan Suplee for 9 points because he's actually one of the inner circle of the brokers.
Later on.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of lines, but anytime they kind of cut for a reaction, he's usually like, whoa, what is going on? But yeah, Ethan Suplee for 9 points. Well done. Ryan, you get your last deep cut right now. I don't want to say it's over because there is enough points on the board that Alex could catch up, but putting points on the board here, I think would
it's over.
Yeah, would help finish this one for you.
All right, I forget the actress's name. I do. She's in Wolf of Wall Street. She's the one where Leo DiCaprio saying when she came to him, she was a single mom, and now she wears for something.
Shit! I remember the scene.
Yeah,
I didn't write her down, and I didn't recognize. Do you know anything else she's in, Ryan?
Yeah, she plays Bert Kreischer's wife in his movie that came out 2 years ago with the Machine.
Oh, The Machine. Oh, she is wife in. Okay, because I was like, she is very familiar.
She's in a bunch of stuff, but she usually plays like the wife or like one scene, like in Wolf of Wall Street.
Let me look up The Machine just so I can get this woman's name, and then I know I didn't write her down, and that's usually means they're worth 20 points. I just didn't think anyone would remember this woman because she does have a very, very small part. And let me confirm. Jesus, The Machine. I'm gonna have to edit this out. Okay, so she's not the Russian girl. I did just watch The Machine too.
I'm a huge I almost wore a Bert Kreischer shirt instead for this. I love him. I've seen him live. I had to go to the theater the night it opened, so I'm just a big Bert Kreischer fan.
And that story is great. That's such a good story.
The actress's name is Stephanie Kurtzuba. Her best knowns are The Irishman, so she must be in kind of the Scorsese's kind of little circle. She's in Annie. The Wolf of Wall Street is Kimmy Belzer, and Extremely Loud and Incredibly. What was that movie?
Close.
Close. Yes, she's in Friends. Your Friends and Neighbors. Okay,
I love that show, Jeff.
I like that show, Alex.
You love it.
It's got some problems, but yeah. So you know what? I did not originally have her written down, but I'm gonna award you 14 points for her. Okay, Ryan? Because I mean,
I'll take it.
I didn't recognize her.
20 because you didn't have her on the list.
That's more just me being lazy. Like,
okay, fair enough.
There's 99 plus people in the Wolf of Wall Street that I got to the point where I was just scrolling through and I was like, do I recognize this person's photo? because there's so many people. So well done with Stephanie Kurtzuba for 14 points. Alex Young, it's out of reach. Unless you can get the mystery guy who's in all 3 movies and is worth 20 points for all movies.
Which I cannot for sure, but I
Nobody
can give
would.
you somebody who's in at least 2, so that's going to give me a handful of points, more so than like second build actor from Silver Linings.
Okay.
Is it going to be 4 points when I say Robert De Niro?
When you say Robert, yeah, because he's 2 points in the Joker because he's fucking Robert De Niro,
and 2 points in
Silver
Silver
and 2 points in Silver Lining Playbook. Because
how many? Because that's my last guess, right?
Yeah, that is it.
So how many points is Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker would have been worth 4 points. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I was gambling for and he actually has one line on the phone in Wolf of Wall Street and be like, there it is. But
no. So I will tell you, there's a guy who's in all 3 movies. His name is Mark Falvo. He's got 160 acting credits. He's one of the stockbrokers in Wolf of Wall Street. He's a protester in Joker, and he's a tailgater in Silver Linings Playbook. I couldn't recognize him if you put him in a lineup with like 6 people, like 5 other people with no faces. I wouldn't know which one he was. From Silver Linings Playbook, obviously the leads, Cooper and Lawrence, Jackie Weaver, John Ortiz, a good solid actor. John Ortiz would have been a decent one. Julia Stiles is in it. And that is about it of the people you got. Joker. Frances Conroy, Alex, from 6 Feet Under.
Oh, that's right.
That's his mom. And playing the young version of her is Hannah Gross from Mindhunter. She's the love. She's his the lead's girlfriend, the very skinny girl. I can't remember her name in the show. Let's see. Glenn Flesher from Barry is in Joker. He's the bald guy that Joker shoots in the head and kills in his apartment. Let's see. From Flight of the Conchords, the guy who works with Murray, Frank Wood is in it. Brian Tyree Hill is also in it. Yeah. He's like the records guy he steals the records from. Comedians Sam Morril, Gary Gulman, and Chris Redd. Brian Callen from Mad TV and the Goldbergs is in it. He's one of the other clowns. And then the big one, Alex, would have been Justin Theroux as the guest on Robert De Niro's show one night. And his name is Ethan Chase. And when you mentioned Todd Phillips, Ethan Chase is Zach Galifianakis' name in Due Date. So he just reuses that name. Wolf of Wall Street. McConaughey, Kyle Chandler. From The Artist, Jean Dujardin is in it.
I can't believe I forgot McConaughey with his super famous
because he's only got.
I not remember that
He's literally got like 1.5 scenes in that movie.
Yeah, because that's all he's in, but it was in every trailer. My brain is bad.
From Captain America and Spider-Man, Kenneth Choi. He's part of the Howling Commandos in the first Avenger.
Yep.
He's one of the main guys in the stockbroker. The guy who plays Steve Madden. The shoe guy he's a real person. Steve Madden designs women's shoes, is played by Jake Hoffman, Dustin Hoffman's son. Let's see. Thomas Middleditch, you got Edward Herman, Rory Gilmore's dad, grandfather, does a narration voice in one of the commercials.
Lost Boys.
Fran Lebowitz plays a judge. And then there's archive footage of Steve Buscemi, Jaleel White, and Reginald Val Johnson as he's watching TV and he's watching The Enforcer and Family Matters. But then my favorite one, Alex, way down at the bottom, is Aya Cash.
From You're the Worst and
You're the Worst and the Boys. She is his secretary.
Wow, I never would have known.
She's a very small part. She's kind of a bitch. She's like one of the few that they're not having sex with all the time in the office. So let's see the final score. Alex, you started off very strong. You had 34 at the half, ended with 44. That big zero on the top.
Worse.
You've done worse. We know that for sure. We sent out the list of the worst scores of the first half, and you were all over it. But Ryan, you had 32 at the half, and then you put up some big ones with Spike Jones, Ethan Suplee, and the girl whose name I'm going to forget is Stephanie Kurtzuba. You finished with the hilarious 69. Congratulations.
Nice. Very well done.
Well done. So, Ryan, the prize is you get to suggest a future guest. I would say Ross.
Sorry.
But anyone you could think of, real or somebody you know or someone you don't know. Just who do you think would be a fun person to try to play Deep Cut the game?
Can they be? I mean, is this like an alive or dead thing? Like anybody?
No, it would
At least alive,
preferably
but they don't
alive.
necessarily be attainable.
Because I was going to say I'd love to see like Alan Watt to try to play this game. That would be hilarious. But that's a whole.
No, we're hey, listen, anyone you say, I'll try to find them if they're out there. I'll reach out to them. They almost never. I will say they almost never, but for the 99% of the time, they do not respond. But
I don't know how obtainable it is, but we've mentioned his movie. I think Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura would be get the two bears in here. I think would be hilarious.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they'd probably be pretty good at it. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I like Bert and I like Tom. I like Tom too. So have you tried to watch? Have you not tried to? But have you watched his new show on Netflix? I think it's called Dark Thoughts or something like that.
I currently don't have Netflix. But
Okay.
I hear Tom Segura's great show is great. And
Also,
I think
it's
Bert,
dark.
Bert, yeah, I heard Bert has a new special out too on Netflix, but I haven't seen it.
Nice. All right. So this show's going to air on Sunday. Your season has just ended.
Yep.
Can you give anyone a glimpse of what's coming up for the second half or the second season that you've got coming up?
Sure. So I'll tell you what our season finale is because it's a very special episode that we worked very hard on. We brought on Dr. Chris Kempsell. He's a World War I historian.
Oh, wow.
He also wrote a book last year called The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire. It's an in-universe history book of the Galactic Empire for Star Wars. We brought him on and we discussed Star Wars, but in universe. So we treat Star Wars as history and kind of discuss the movies and the books and the comics and the video games as actual history.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun. And then coming up in season 2, we have a great episode on the end of history coming up. We're doing a couple episodes. Actually, we're going to do 2 episodes on that. We got one already recorded, kind of doing end of history movies. We were inspired by the recent live broadcast of Good Night and Good Luck. So we're going to do an episode on that. That's one of Ross and I's both favorite movies. And then we also, every week, we do new episodes every Monday. There's 4 weeks in October. So every episode in October is going to be spooky related. So we're going to do ghosts, zombies, horror films, and then kind of like as a genre and talk about Charles Band. And then we're also going to do an episode on kind of X-Files and conspiracy theories and government secrets type of stuff. So we're kind of doing rounding the bases of kind of the spooky gauntlet in October.
Perfect. Well, sounds good. And so the History on Film podcast, you can find that Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Pandora, everywhere you find your podcasts.
Yep.
Bunch of episodes up there if you haven't listened to them yet, and new ones coming at the end of the summer.
Yep.
Alex, what's going on with you?
Not a whole lot, Jeff, but everybody can find me on Letterboxd or Instagram or whatever as the Alex Young. Also, buy your movies physically and support your local rep cinema. Also, for PSA for anyone in Canada, The Life of Chuck has opened, and it is playing at most Cineplexes and the Lightbox and a few other locations. And that is a movie worth seeing. I feel like it's not getting promoted a lot.
No, not really.
But I caught it at TIFF last year. It won Audience Choice. And it was probably the best movie I saw last year. So everybody should go check that movie out. It is phenomenal. It is a feel-good movie. It is heartwarming. It is gut-wrenching. It is a nice bomb to watch at this time.
Now, I've read the book twice, or the story twice, because it's part of
Let It Bleed, I think?
I believe so, yeah. So does it also incorporate, there's another story in Life of Chuck? Like,
it's literally just that short story, The Life of Chuck, but it is that entire short story.
But like what I'm saying is like Life of Chuck, there is like a story that leads into
It is
Chuck.
told in 3 parts. That movie is told in 3 parts.
Cool. That's all I wanted to know. I'm not sure about the listen, Tom Hiddleston, terrific actor. He is not what is described in that story physically.
He's really good. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure he's good, but he's not the guy.
Okay, so like everybody listening, everyone except Jeff, go see this movie and you're going to love it.
I'm just saying the guy that they describe in that story looks much more like me than he does Tom Hiddleston.
Jeff, no offense. If they cast you, no one's going to see it at all.
I'm just saying there's actors that look like me that you could cast in that.
They can't get Mike Birbiglia on that short notice.
I mean, if they're going to make a movie about my life, I would want Thomas Hiddleston
to play you too. Yeah.
Or Tom Hardy,
like the guy in the
or Tom Cruise, any of the Toms, any of the Hollywood Toms, really.
Yeah, honestly, I think like Adam Sandler would have been a better look for that part, and I think he can pull it off.
I don't think he can pull it off, and I love Punch Drunk Love, but he could not do that role.
Oh, he could dance.
So sorry,
he could dance. He can do all sorts of things. Alex. So Alex, this is the part of the show where you send me an outro to read. You've had many weeks to come up with something.
Yeah. So I wrote it like 2 hours ago as I do all my homework. So Jeff, your direction for this one, because we're talking history on film, is I have written it for you in the style of like a 1940s newsreel. So I want like your best like transatlantic like radio, like news from the front. Here comes our boys, brought to you by Soap. Like give me that kind of whatever. And off you go.
All right, so everyone, these are sight unseen. So if I flub words and stuff like that, it's because I'm stupid and bad at reading. All right, I'm gonna put my hand over my ear as though I'm listening to the teledex or whatever they've got. There you go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes another thrilling broadcast. We've brought you the news, the views, and the game itself straight from the heart of the World Wide Web. As we bid you fond farewell. See, that's the word that I was having trouble saying. Remember to keep your ears to the ground, your eyes on the skies, and follow Deep Cuts wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been your trusted source for information. Good day, good night, and good luck.